Hi, Dagobert from Dagobert Stacker World here with the Estuary and Beach Fishing Report for this weekend, the 5th and 6th of June 2021. We will start up the jumping pin area. Okay, lots happening. Plenty of flatties around. The flatties have been really good this week. Plenty of whiting around. Bream as always, and some big bream as well. There's been heaps of prawns. I went prawning on Monday up around Rudy Mars there, and we bagged out a couple of buckets in like less than an hour, 50 minutes. Incredible. My best prawning session I've had this season, which started back about end of November. So there's been a few prawns around. I haven't been out there all the time, but when I do go, I haven't had that sort of consistency that I had on Monday morning. So definitely the prawns are on. So get your top pocket cast net and head up around that sort of, even from Jacobswell boat ramp up to Rudy Mars and have a look and see what's happening in that area. They're also apparently been on the high tide up around Redland Bay Channel that comes out into the Logan River and marks rocks in that sort of area. So have a look at that for the prawns. Some big muddies around. You might see a few guys on Facebook posting hits of big muddies. There was a little bit of rain, but there wasn't much rain last weekend. So I think it's just that no one's been chasing them for a while, so that's why they're around. So you go chase the muddies as well. Definitely, the flatties have been really good. Anywhere around all the sandbanks around the Aldershots, the little channels around the Aldershots. As the tide drops, they come off the banks that fall into those little channels, and you just pluck them off with your soft plastics. This weekend you do have high tide right on daylight and dusk. So with the high tide early morning, as I said last week, I'd be trolling. Last weekend, obviously, you're trolling because it's windy, but this weekend we got a little bit of wind on Saturday, not much on Sunday. But regardless, trolling with like little lures like this fellow's really good. The guys last week who we put onto with the lures did really well, and guys casting soft plastics did really well as well. As the water come off the sandbanks onto the gutters and drains and in the main channel, and just drifting on the edge of the banks in the deeper water. So give that a shot. You can cast bigger lures up on the high tide. It's amazing that little thing there. Smashed on the high tide trolling. At the same time, this fellow here, which is obviously a little bit bigger, as you can see, the size comparison, it works really well when you're casting. So both these lures are Japanese, of course. That's a bit like a gari, if you can see that. And that's what they're chasing up on the flats at the moment. It's also the gar time of the year as well. So they're chasing gar and whiting, of course. So get up on those flats, only in like half a metre of water or a metre of water, and it's fantastic fishing. You're casting right up to the edge of the bank. Sometimes I'll cast my lure onto the sand and then bring it back out, and I've been smacked. Well, I can't even see the floater sitting in the water, but only in that much water sort of thing. And I just drag off the sand and do the first twitch, and next minute, bambo, the big splash, and you get like a 70 or 80 centimetre flathead just hiding, buried in the sand on the edge of the water, of the sand. And so they work really well. I'll give that a shot. The other thing that's been happening at jumping's been heaps of bream around, and a few tailor too, by the way, bream around the northeastern corner of Crusoe Island, as always, there on the mud corner there, and tailor in a similar area as well once the tide starts running out. The beach fishing I haven't heard much of because the swell's been too big, but it's dropped off now. It is going to be a bit windy on the weekend. With a bit of west there, I'll be definitely trying for tailor, and I'll be trying anywhere from sort of the back of Tipplers up to the tip of the most northern tip of South Stradbroke Island, and maybe over Kurrajee back down this way. I'll give that a shot for tailor. There'll be plenty of dart and whiting in the close gutters too, I think. Down the Broadwater end of town, the squid have been phenomenal. I've been going out actually this morning, got a few again this morning before work just for an hour, and it was a bit windy, but they were definitely there. But we've had a lot of customers this week chasing the squid and doing really well. Those little flash boost things I showed you last week, they've been smacking them, and they do bigger. I didn't show this last week, but they do bigger sizes in as well. That's like the ones you just have sitting in the water. But even just your plain Jane colours like pinks or reds or blues are also doing really well. And it's just, I'm trying to explain the difference between the cheaper and the dearer jigs, folks. Is the dearer ones, when you flick them up, they actually are like a stick bait. They don't just go straight. They go a dart. When you do the cheaper jigs, which we sell, and we sell lots of them, and they do work, but they're more of a slow wind type one. When you do the flick action, they just go straight up. They don't really do any erratic manoeuvres. So that's the difference, and that's why you pay. And plus, it costs much better on the dearer ones, whatever. But there is a massive price difference in them, but they do produce better. Anyhow, that's up to you guys what you want to buy. The other thing that's been happening down in the Broadwater is snapper. So there's been some really big snapper caught in the seaway this week. Young Kane got one on the north wall this week. It was around about 70 centimetres or 80 centimetres. It was a nice fish. Fish it for jewies with live bait. And you got a big snapper off just inside the north wall there in the boat. I've got a couple of Asian customers that have been fishing off the south wall this week, off the rocks themselves, and just on dark and early morning, and getting some really good snapper around that sort of 50 centimetre size or even 55s, fishing from the rocks. Bit hard to pull them out though, because they tend to go down under the rocks. You've got to try and get them out of the rocks. They fight well when you're fishing land-based, that's for sure. They've got plenty of structure to hide in. So you just got to pull them out, but you'll get a couple if you go down there with slab baits like mullet fillets or tailor fillets or yellowtail fillets, slimy fillets, and even pilchards are not too bad as well down along the seaway wall. Just be careful fishing there if there's a bit of swell, guys. Okay. The other thing that the guys have been doing is just hopping vibes like this sort of thing here. So just jigging those all around the seaway and the end of the wall there, catching anything from tarpon to even bream, but dart even, flatties. Haven't heard of any snapper being caught in the seaway this week on vibes, but on jigs, sorry, but possibility. But definitely trevally and tail, all the usual stuff like that as well. Okay. Whiting and Broadwater, there's a few starting out the river. I didn't realise, but only last week I was told that the hen stand only stopped, like late last week or early this week, it stopped flowing over the spillway. So that's why the water's so blooming dirty. It hasn't stopped being dirty. I couldn't work out why, because I thought it stopped about 2 months ago. But it's constantly been flowing over the spillway and coming down the meringue and flushing out. So that's why we've had that dirty water. But it has stopped, so hopefully the water will clear up pretty quickly now. Okay. But good tides this weekend for squid. Got high tide early morning, just on dark, fantastic. All the way along from Effron Island all the way down to Lotus Creek, all on the western channel there. Have a go. Just drifting and casting. Definitely troll for flatties around Crab Island or cast your big lures up in the flats on the high tide, early morning and late afternoon. And I'd definitely probably go for a beach fish, maybe on Sunday afternoon when the wind drops off a bit, get a bit of west in it, and try for tailor around Narrowneck and Phillip Park at opposite Seawall there, and also Mirage, where the car park is near Mirage there. Give that a go for tailor, and there might be a few whiting and surf during the day down to the pumping jetty. Okay, you'll need worms for that. And that's probably about it for the estuary and beach. But give it a shot, it's fantastic. Weather this weekend, not much rain, or no rain, I think, maybe a shower tomorrow, but that's about it. And but really good conditions on Sunday, coming better as the day goes on. Good luck, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, bye-bye.